Since the beginning of time, our people have lived on the lands that the Creator provided for our ancestors. Our creation stories speak of how the Creator put Tla'amin people on this land. We have a deep connection to it, established at the time of our birth when our umbilical cord was buried into the ground. This connection is nourished by our teachings, our ta'o, which show how we are bound to the forests and waters of our territories. Our people have depended on this land for their survival since time immemorial. Archaeologists have dated some of the known archaeological sites at over 8,000 years old, and we are still learning more. Over time and through non-native intervention, our people were placed on Indian reserves that were established back in 1879. Our use and occupation was limited to our 6 reserves. In 1993, the Tla'amin Nation entered the BC Treaty process to negotiate an agreement that would provide us with lands, resources, and governance powers. Tla'amin will govern our own lands, and we will have full lawmaking authority for the first time in our history. We will make the decisions about how our land and resources are used, what businesses we want to develop, and how we wish to care for the land. On effective date, Tla'amin will become the largest landowner in the Powell River region. We will own 8,332 hectares in land in fee simple, which is the highest form of ownership. This includes 70 kilometers of waterfront property and our existing reserve lands. We will continue to have a role and a say in what happens in our territory and continue to have hunting, fishing, and gathering rights into the future. We will continue to honor and respect our protocols with our neighboring nations for our mutual benefit and enjoyment of our shared resources. Over the past 2 decades, our community has participated in a considerable amount of land use planning work. These projects have provided us with direction on preliminary land use designations, guidance in our policy development, and have resulted in the Tla'amin Nation land use plans. Our past planning work is extremely important because it has included elders who are no longer with us, leadership, youth, staff, and community. In 2007, the Tla'amin Nation completed a comprehensive community plan to support community development and nation building while establishing a foundation for our future self-government and treaty implementation. The ultimate goal was to create a better quality of life for our future generations. Our first land use plan, the Tla'amin Land Use Plan, was completed in 2010, and it directs land use and development on Tishosum, Sliammon Reserve 1, and Agaikson, Harwood Island Reserve 2. It establishes direction by describing our vision and broad concepts for how we use and develop these lands. Our next land use plan, the Tla'amin Nation Land Use Plan for Treaty Settlement Lands, was completed in 2014 with input from the community, leadership, elders, and youth. This plan will give us direction and guidance on how we will use these lands for our community benefit. This plan incorporated our ta'o, the Tla'amin Constitution, and our comprehensive community plan and elements from many of the past studies that our community has done over the years. Land use planning must take into consideration our culture and traditional uses, the environment, and the needs of our future generations. For example, culture and traditional use designations takes into consideration that all archaeological sites will be recognized and protected. Our language will be utilized on signage maps, as well as documenting all traditional place names like Tokwana on Theodosia, Tokunach in Okover, and Pakienam on Cortez Island. In order for our nation to govern ourselves and our lands and resources, we need to have rules or laws in place. The Tla'amin Nation will have laws that give us guidance and direction, that follow our ta'o and our constitution. These laws are being developed with input from leadership, elders, staff, and community. Our teachings tell us that our people occupied a vast traditional territory that once belonged to Tla'amin people. This traditional territory stretched along the northern Sunshine Coast, extending along both sides of the Strait of Georgia. Long before contact, our people governed these lands, shared, cultivated, and took care of the land. The time has come for our people to regain our role as stewards of the land and to benefit from the bountiful resources that the Creator has put here for us. It is our responsibility to ensure that all we were given will be there for our future generations to come.